America's on a razor's edge. A kid in Florida allegedly abducted and shot for wearing a MAGA hat. Russia's threatening nuclear war with NATO. Secret generals meeting behind closed doors. And somehow, Thomas Crooks, the so-called lone wolf, resurfaces doing some Mossad dry fire training. Tonight, we're talking Civil War at home, World War abroad, and the possibility that both are being manufactured for the same end game. Trust me, there's an end game here. And a lot of people don't want to say it. They say it's, oh man, it's fear-mongering. But let's start with the MAGA kid story. Okay, you probably heard it. 17-year-old Caden Spite, Florida. The initial headlines, kid wearing a Trump hat abducted by 4 Hispanic men in a van. Shot, dumped. Amber alert. It spread like wildfire. Check it out.
News 6's Mark Lehman, and we're in Marion County where an Amber Alert remains in place to find a 17-year-old who may have been shot and was then abducted. This is the person deputies are looking for. An Amber Alert has been issued for 17-year-old Caden Spate. He was last seen wearing a T-shirt and blue jeans. Law enforcement believes he may be with 4 unknown, possibly Hispanic men who were driving a light-colored van. This all stems from this scene off of Highway 484 east of Dunellen. The Marion County Sheriff's Office says they responded here after 4 yesterday afternoon for a reported shooting. When deputies arrived, they say the victim was gone, but his truck was left behind. In the hours that followed, a family member of Spate posted on Facebook saying they got a message from the teen that said he had been shot, and they haven't heard from him since. And so far, deputies are not confirming that information, but they are asking for help in locating.
Conservatives, they were raging, right? Mad, rightfully so. Liberals were mocking it. Perfect division fuel. But then the facts shifted. Authorities later claimed no confirmed abduction, no gunshot wound. Surveillance footage actually showed Caden buying a bike and a tent before disappearing. The official narrative flips on its head. So why was this really a tragic case of misinformation, or was it something else? Because think about it. The perfect story drops, just inflammatory enough to trigger outrage and division. Then it collapses under scrutiny. False flag psychology 101. If you've been in the game for a minute, you know that. You don't need bombs. You just need a viral narrative that drives America at each other's throats. And here's the kicker. Whether it's intentional or not, the result is the same. Civil War theater. Another strike at America's fragile unity. Another fracture line opened. And that's here in America. And it's happening. You see the division. Sydney Sweeney ad caused absolute chaos. People were having meltdowns. Now we pivot from domestic to global. While America fights itself in the streets, the world's biggest nuclear powers are squaring off. Okay, Dmitry Medvedev, we talk about him a lot, former Russian president, now the attack dog for Putin, openly said, if NATO escalates further in Ukraine, Russia could respond with nuclear force. Okay, he wasn't whispering, he said it directly. Okay. And he does that quite a bit. I understand that. But then we also have
который НАТО и Евросоюз объявили уже моей стране настоящую войну и прямо в ней участвуют. В этом же
This is the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov. He says NATO and the EU have declared war on Russia and are directly participating in it. He's making that claim. And this is the thing, ladies and gentlemen, you have to remember this is how they do it. They start soft launching. Guys, we're the victims. We're minding our own business. We're just fighting with Ukraine. And now you guys are getting involved. So therefore, we have to defend ourselves. We have to defend the homeland. Okay? Right? This is what you call straight nuclear blackmail. Not being subtle, No diplomat speak, right? Meanwhile, NATO just finished secretive war games in Germany. Not peace games, not diplomacy games, war games. Practicing the unthinkable, practicing for the kind of exchange you and I aren't supposed to survive. Maybe Peter Thiel and his homies do, but we don't. Okay. Then we saw this here. 11 NATO tanker aircraft are flying along coordinated routes across Europe, significantly exceeding the usual 4 to 6 units. Okay. Maybe it's nothing. Maybe it's nothing. Right? Putin preparing to attack another European country, Zelensky says. Right? And we're backing him. We're backing. Trump said he's backing Zelensky. He's going to back him to the end. They actually just cut like a $90 billion weapons deal. Either million or billion. I think it's billion. I don't think 90 million goes far in the military industrial complex. You might get a few jets. It's probably 90 billion. So what's the connection here? We have civil unrest at home, nuclear brinkmanship abroad. Both tear at your confidence. Both make you easier to manage. It's a game, right? Now, coming this week, senior U.S. military brass will hold a closed-door summit. Yes, they will. Okay. Just the people who control the largest war machine in human history, meeting in private as the nuclear clock ticks closer to midnight. Nah, nothing. What will they be discussing? Troop movements, a draft, continuity of government in case of collapse. Maybe just we're not going to be woke anymore. They're going to change the PT standards or facial hair standards. We don't know. But historically, these kind of shadow meetings precede escalation. You think about Vietnam, Iraq, to every conflict where the American public was the last to know until your son's boots hit the dirt of a foreign country. And remember, elites plan, citizens react, and that's the power imbalance. Okay? Don't forget it. It's how it works. You're kept in the dark. Okay? Now, something odd I just want to touch on. This may be nothing. We have a new video of Thomas Crooks resurfacing here. He pops back into discourse with his leaked video of him dry firing in his bedroom. Okay? No training partners, no range, just a bedroom fantasy camp. Right? Now, the thing is that you may say, well, he's just training. Dude wasn't using a pistol. He used a rifle. So why is he training with a pistol? He's got his Marvel poster there. You know, just like any teenage boy, although he wasn't teenage. It's just odd this is resurfacing, right? We're told this guy was about to pull off his op flawlessly until the last second, practicing his massage techniques in his bedroom. I'm just kidding. I don't know. It's comical, right? And it's insulting at the same time. They hand you the story of a bumbling loner, then expect that we're just going to forget about him. This loner's in his room practicing dry firing. And he had people meeting him that were also connected to the FBI building. And we're supposed to believe that loner cafeteria worker in an old folks home. We're supposed to believe that he was a ghost. He operated like a freaking covert asset. We know nothing about the man to this day. Whether Crooks was a pawn, a patsy, or maybe something even darker, the imagery of this man rehearsing in his room is going to reinforce the threat for you. That anyone can be a threat. The enemy is among you. Could this be a classic psychological operation? And the bigger picture is you don't even know who's behind Thomas Crooks. That's the bigger thing. You don't even know who's behind Thomas Crooks. That should make you really wonder what's going on. Because the kid had 7 cell phones, but he was a loner, didn't talk to anybody, lived with his parents, worked in a cafeteria. They found a van that he supposedly took there full of bombs, but then that story vanished too. And then he rode a bike there. He bought a ladder from the local hardware store. He drove his car there. I had footage of him driving his car there. So all those stories didn't add up. Kind of like Tyler Robinson, those stories aren't adding up. And you just think, do they really believe we're that dumb? That's what I want to know. Do they really believe we're that dumb or that naive? Or are we just going to believe? I don't believe anything that people tell me, man. I remember Stephen Paddock, right? Stephen Paddock, Las Vegas. This dude had a woman show up the following day on the news saying it was his wife. And I saw it. I saw the interview. So it said it was his wife. And they had been having problems. They've been separated 6 months. Only to find out the following day after, his brother said, dude's never been married. The woman vanished. Never heard from again. Never heard from her again. Never saw her face. It makes you wonder what's really going on, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know. Is everybody a patsy? It's hard to say. Now, if we tie this all together, domestic false flag, possible, and MAGA hat hysteria with that story, push the Civil War narrative. We're going to see that. We're going to see more of these lunatics doing things. We're seeing them almost every week now. The lunatics are going to do something with a World War I unregistered weapon, or maybe a dang defense. We don't know what is the flavor of the week, but that's what's going to be happening. This Russia thing keeps spinning, and the more they say release the files, the more we push that direction. Because let me tell you something, you get into World War III and nuclear payloads are dropping in your backyard of your subdivision, you're not going to be asking about the files anymore, okay? Right? We got NATO wargaming. Push the World War narrative. Secret generals meetings. Man, that could be a stage of emergency powers and martial law. Who knows? And then all of a sudden, this Crooks video resurfacing out of nowhere. Right? Odd. We don't know nothing about the guy, but this video pops up. This nerdy looking guy dry firing in his bedroom. I don't know, man. I don't get a warm and fuzzy. What I see is war on two fronts, one external, one internal, and the real battleground isn't just Ukraine or Florida or Washington. The battleground is in your mind, because everything you see is a freaking psyop. Everything. Not to mention we're being softened up. We're being distracted, divided, pushed into fear, rage, and despair all at the same time. Most people can't even manage all these emotions at one time. That's the reason why they do it. They push you in all these. You're mad at this group of people. You don't like this group of people. You're scared that you're going to have paratroopers dropping in on your kid's baseball game. That's how empires fall, guys. Not from one decisive battle, but from death by 1,000 psychological cuts. The playbook is simple. Manufacture division, manufacture fear, offer control as a solution. And we've got the AI overlords already saying that. But you don't have to buy the ticket. You don't have to ride the roller coaster, okay? Train your body, sharpen your mind, strengthen your faith, harden your family. You know, and that's the thing that I feel like, you know, a lot of people talk about current events and things, but what sets me apart is I'm not only trying to tell you about what's going on. That's staying frosty. I'm telling you what you need to do. Actionable steps all the time. I'm trying to drive that home. Actionable steps, things that you can control. It's not about what you can't control. It's what you can control. And most people are sit and complain, and they don't even try to fix the things that they can control. They just complain about everything else. I'll complain about those things, but I also am preparing for the absolute worst every day of my life. It's what I do. It's what I live for. Am I paranoid? Am I walking around in fear? Do I not enjoy my life? I enjoy my life. I'm not walking around in fear. None of that sort of stuff. However, I do understand nations fall. Things come to a close. Because whether civil war here or world war abroad, the men who stay frosty, strapped, and dangerous will be the ones who endure. Guys, stay ready. Stay prepared. Stay frosty, strapped, and dangerous. And remember, the war, you think it hadn't started, but it's already begun. Black Scout, out.